Hi YouTube family, I hope you're doing well. So today I have a little bit of a different take on this week's video. So I was just going through my Bible study, and I went through a chapter that I've been thinking for quite a while, and I was trying to maybe piece it together into my own life, right? Because I think when you read the Bible, you need to see how it applies to you and how you can use the different lessons into your life, right? And if you do follow me on TikTok or here on YouTube, what I do try to do with my page is not just share different lessons or different Bible verses or anything, but to also share my own take or how these different verses or scriptures have applied into my life to make it more relatable to as somebody that you can look at and say, you know what, I've also gone through these issues. I've also gone through this particular journey, and I'm so glad somebody else is able to share their own perspective on that and see how you can kind of go through that yourself and navigate through that. But also seeing somebody else, I think when you see somebody else who gives you a perspective of their story, where it's like they're telling you that they've also been in the same shoes as you are, and this is what they did to overcome that particular struggle, it makes it less difficult. It makes it less attainable. It makes it less of a challenge, and it looks more of something that you can achieve. You can get to the other side of the storm, to the rainbow, right? And I think that is what I'm really trying to do, a diary of a healing babe. Not just share stories, not just not just have different discussions, but to share things that are relatable, things that other people, like I said, friends, sisters, or people that can see me as a friend or a sister can actually look at me and say, you know what, I can totally relate to this. And I'm so glad that there is somebody else out there that has gone through this. There is somebody else out there that has, passed the stage that I'm currently in, and giving me hope that it's possible to get through to the other side. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I was going through so I'm reading this month, I'm going through the book of Matthew. And today I was going through Matthew chapter 26. And so if you have gone through it, you know that it's just speaking about the days leading to Jesus' crucifixion, or how the chief priests were consulting about his arrest. How Judas goes and agrees with the chief priest to get him to hand him over. How Jesus tells the 12 that there's one of you that is going to betray me. How Jesus tells Peter that you are going to deny me 3 times. And there's a specific passage that I came across. So I'm just going to read it before I go into my understanding of it. Right. So it's Matthew 26, verse 31 to 35, which says, Then Jesus said to them, This night all of you will have your faith in me shaken, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be dispersed. But after I have been raised up, I shall go before you to Galilee. Peter said to him in reply, Though all may have their faith in you shaken, mine will never be. Jesus said to him, Amen, I say to you, this very night before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, Even though I should have to die with you, I will not deny you. And all the disciples spoke likewise. So if you are Catholic, as I am, during the time of Lent, I was quite reflecting on this particular scenario of when Peter actually denies Jesus. So my questioning, because I really just like to question what were you thinking? What was going on? Just try to understand it from a deeper perspective, right? Just the why, the how, the what, right? Whilst he was denying him, did he have any did he think back to this moment when Jesus foretold him that you will deny me 3 times? And did he feel shame? Because I don't know, if speaking just in now, in reality, when we look at situations where, I don't know about you, but if I, for example, I had to go through this, or if I had to say something bad about somebody and then find out that I was wrong, the shame that I would feel in that moment, I would avoid the person, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would feel so ashamed, so embarrassed. And so it's like, what was Peter thinking at that time? Was he embarrassed? Did he, I mean, I don't know, right? And so, like I said, I want to link this to my own life story, because I was just, again, thinking. And if I'm linking this back to the topic that I was covering for quite a number of weeks lately, which was forgiveness, on my TikTok. So like I said, if you are following me on TikTok, if you're not, please do. But if you are, then you will notice that we are following the topic of forgiveness from God's perspective, right? And so a personal story of mine, when I was younger, I don't know if the exact timeline is necessary, but when I was younger, back in school, right, there was this new girl. So she had trouble making friends, and like somebody that friendly. And so I saw that she was having trouble making friends, and I remembered, because I was not too long ago new at the school as well, and so I was like, I also had trouble making friends, and if it wasn't for my close friend at that particular time, I think I would have still been alone. Okay. And so she came to me, and she became a sister for me during that particular time. And if I didn't have her, I would have still been alone trying to navigate this new school. But I was like, I don't want her to go through what I went through. So I befriended her, but I saw that she maybe wanted a bigger group, so she'd always go to other people. And it's not that I had any issues with them or her. Like, I wanted to spend my time with my sister, right? And so I didn't really want to spend my time with these other people. So she'd always try to spend time with other people, but the thing is, she kept having problems with them. Now, I really don't remember, or if I do remember, I really don't know what the issues she was having with them were. But she kept having issues with different groups of people. And then I would always be the one to always go to them and kind of like talk to them, apologize, be like, please just understand, like, just forgive her, whatever. I would always try to like mend the bridge and get them back together, whatever. But then it would always be happening, right? And I'd always be neglecting my friend, my sister. I'll call her my sister for the sake of this video and the story. My sister. And so when there was a time when, because I had a diary that I would write some of my personal thoughts in them. And so one day she came and she saw me writing in the diary. And I mean, I tried to close it really quickly and make it less obvious, because the book is not for everybody to know or to see. It's my personal thoughts that are not necessarily supposed to be of public knowledge, right? And so she came and she was like, oh, she insisted to see it, right? And then I gave it to her. But before I gave it to her, I warned her that, listen, this is my personal thoughts. I'm not going to be held responsible for what you feel when you read them, because I do know what I've written in them. They're not necessarily nice things, and that is why it's in a diary and not me going around and telling people about these things. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, and this is what I'm going to say in my diary about what I'm feeling. And she was like, yeah, it's okay. She went through it and she read things about things, right? So things that I've said about other people in our grade or in our school, and then things that I've said about her. So like I said, she was new, and as she, like, immediately as she got there, she was just breaking up relationships, dating all these guys. And for me, it was just like, if you want to be friends with people, you can't stir drama, right? These people were already like in a relationship type of thing, and now you're coming and you're breaking that up. And it's not even like you're staying in that relationship for long. You're just in that relationship for a small amount of time, and then you move on, and then you move on. And it's not like I'm jealous. And I did explain that to her. I'm not jealous, but I just feel like you're stirring up drama. And if you want people to like you, you don't want to stir up drama with the people that you want to be friends with, right? And so I explained it to her, because she read the things, and then she kind of felt bad, and I was trying to explain what I'm saying to her. And she was like, no, it's fine. I don't feel offended. It's fine. I understand, whatever. Come to find out, I realized that she didn't understand, and it was not fine, right? Because we went on break after that moment. Oh, it was the next day. I think it was the next day. We were on break. Then when we come back from break, I see that, because there was a small lock on my bag, because I think certain people around that time, certain people had issues with their bags, so sometimes they would come and find things missing on them. And so I was really protective of my diary, so I would lock up the part where the book was, especially, right? So I mean, you try to hide your bag, but then that was the part where I would always lock, and then anything else that was important, I'd put it in that particular part of the bag. Besides the point, but when I come back from break, I see that my lock has been broken and my bag is open. And then I look and I see that the diary is missing. And then I say, okay, I've been in the school for a minute now. And I've had this diary also for a minute now. So if this diary was supposed to go missing, it would have gone missing a long time ago. But I've just come to have a conversation with somebody who seemed to not have an issue with the things I said in my diary. And now my bag, for the first time, has been broken into, and my diary is missing. This is not a coincidence. This is, right? And so I don't panic. I don't ask. I don't talk about it. Like, I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to maybe confront her about it later on. But I don't panic, because it is what it is, right? Then later on, I see certain people talking, right? And then we had a period, one of my classes had a period where we went to, what do they call it? Oh, I forgot. It's been a minute since I've been at school. But we had that. And so that teacher wanted us to go to the field. So we went to the field, great. And then I see people coming up to me, and they just like, they're not angry, but somebody mentions to me like, we saw your diary. And then, like I said, they were not questioning me. They were not angry. They were just like, we saw your diary. Let's call this particular person Jessica. Jessica told us about your diary, and so we saw the diary. And so I was like, oh my word, I'm so sorry. Those are my personal thoughts. They weren't meant to become public knowledge, and so it was not said to offend anybody. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm apologizing to everybody for whatever I might have said in my diary. And they're like, no, it's fine. We understand. It's your stuff. But but Jessica just gave it to us, and she was telling us that you said these things and what. And I was like, I don't know why she would do that. Like, I mean, I showed it to her because she wanted me to show it to her. She insisted, but it was never supposed to become a thing. And they're like, no, it's fine, we get it. And then afterwards, I see how everybody naturally, like I said, everybody didn't find a problem with what I said, even though it was kind of hurtful or whatever. Or I don't know if people felt hurt by anything I said, but they never really acted on it. But instead, everybody turned their backs and were upset with Jessica. And so during that time, because this is something that it took me, I thought I forgave, but it took me quite a long time to forgive, because it's like, you betrayed my trust. This is a book that I've never let anybody read. If I wanted it to become public knowledge, I would have said it to people. I would have talked about it, verbalized it to other people. I know what I'm saying is hurtful, and therefore I'm not saying it out loud. I'm keeping it somewhere so that I can let it go out of my head, out of my thoughts, just let it out, as opposed to keeping it in and then making a situation out of it. And you made a situation out of it. You made a situation out of it with somebody that is constantly by your side, that is constantly fighting your battles, that is always supporting you. That hurt me a lot, because I was like, everybody else, when you have issues with everybody else, no matter if I feel like you're in the wrong, I always have your back. I wasn't expecting you to understand. You're the one who insisted to read the book, and now that you feel offended by it, as opposed to discussing it with me and telling me how I have offended you, you turn your back on the one person that has stood by you. For whom? Right? And so that particular situation made me think of Peter's denial. Like, Peter turned his back on Jesus when Jesus needed him to stand up for him. Like, yes, Jesus knew this is what needs to happen. Yes, according to make the prophecy a reality, this is what needs to happen. Yes, but you turned your back on him. How did you feel? And for many years, honestly, even though it took me, like I said, it took me long to move past this particular situation, I kept going back to the sense of, how did she feel? And even though I was contemplating my emotions with myself, I kept going to myself, even if I was angry, I should have put myself in her shoes. Everybody turned their backs on her, and she was alone. She had no one. I heard stories about how she was trying to convince her mom to leave the school because she just felt some type of way. And I like, in that moment, I was too upset to see that. But as time went by, I started to feel bad for not having understood her. I mean, she never came up to me to apologize, but still, I shouldn't have been another person to turn her back on her. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it kind of makes me a villain as well, right? Jesus knew that Peter was going to turn his back on him and deny him. And Jesus knew that the others were going to flee, not stand by his side whilst he was going through this. So they could have stood by his side and support him, but they fled for fear of their lives. Like, am I not as wrong as her for having turned my back as well to her. I mean, in this situation, I mean, before I like, actually, when I started this video, I actually thought that she was Peter in this situation. But I realized that I was Peter in that situation, not necessarily because she was Jesus and she was right. I'm Peter because I was yet another person that left her out in the cold. I could have been somebody that, still held her hand and showed her the way and be like, what you did was wrong and I'm really upset with you, but I'll not let you, I'll not turn my back on you and leave you out in the cold in your time of need. I recognize that you need somebody right now. You need somebody to hold your hand, and I'll be that person to hold your hand as you realize that you've made a mistake. But I was just another Peter in her life. And so I just want to end this video with, as I'm also reflecting myself on this lesson, let's not be Peters to individuals, whether or not they may be right for what they did to us, whether or not in that situation, whatever they did may have left us broken, left our trust tarnished, because that particular friendship did a number on me. I mean, it really diminished my trust in people. It really made me feel like I can't trust, like I can't necessarily be open in friendships. So it really affected the way I make friends going forward with that particular situation. It really impacted my view of people, my view of friendships. It really closed me off. It really closed off it really impacted, like I want to say, it really impacted the innocence in making friendships, the innocence in which you approach people. And it just impacted the way in which I operate. And so, yeah, that's the lesson that I want us to grasp from this. Just let us learn to forgive quickly. Let's learn to turn our hearts to Jesus, or to Jesus, as quickly as possible, so that we do not become another Peter for another person. Yes, we may be broke. Let the pain that we are going through, may it not be the reason why we close off our hearts. We build up fences. We turn our paths, or we turn our purpose away from where we're supposed to go, right? Let us maintain the innocence that Jesus wants us to have. Let us maintain the innocence, the childlike innocence that God wants us to have towards Him and towards other people. Let us not have the pain that others have caused us to harden our hearts. But instead, let us pray for them so that they can turn their ways around, and be more like Him, and realize their faults, so that they don't go around hurting any more people. And also, because in this situation, yes, you're hurt, but the consequences of you being a Peter will end up also making this person turn out into something else, whereas you could have helped them become something better. So I think our lesson, or our mission, is to also help others become better, as opposed to hardening our hearts and then pushing people into whatever forest of darkness they're not supposed to go into. As opposed to being a helping hand, we become the high priest, pushing them to their crucifixion, or pushing them to death, right? I hope this resonates with somebody. Not sure what happened there with my ending, so I'm just going to record this now. So thank you again to everybody that has stayed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I can't wait to have this conversation with you all in the comment section. Please do let me know if there has been a situation where you have felt like a Peter in your life, and you wish you could have changed how you react in that specific situation. And yeah, remember, this is a space of growth. This is a space to learn. I would love to hear from you and to learn from whatever experience you have as well. And please do let me know as well in the comments if you do enjoy these type of videos, because I'm very, very afraid of making videos that speak on my personal life. But if this is a video that you all do resonate with, then I think I will be able to gain the confidence to keep posting some more videos of this sort here on this page, here on this TikTok page. But yes, if you're not already, please don't forget to subscribe and follow me on TikTok. Can't wait to see you on the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.